where should I start? So we did the whole investigation, and then we're coming back down and doing spirit box sessions on the way back. So the whole night was kind of like connected to each other. We kept seeing shadows throughout the night, things that were standing there, and then you go back later, and then we thought was a bush is not there no more.
Throughout the night, it was pretty intense. We kept seeing figures on the hill. We kept seeing just random shit just pop up and disappear.
It was a very interesting night for sure. It was a lot of hearing noises that you don't expect to hear at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Throughout the night, we kept getting responses telling us to run and stuff like that.
Me and Jimmy both heard countless times of birds. I don't know how many times or how many of you or go out into nature or such, but birds don't usually fly around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Me and Kyle kept hearing a bunch of birds, and don't really hear birds at night. They sleep, so it's just really weird.
We made our way down the hill from our investigation and started doing spirit box sessions on the way back. I did one. I didn't get really much, nothing that made sense anyways.
Just like took a little bit of turns doing the spirit box. I didn't do it because I didn't want to.
But once we started coming down the hill, it started like winding down. It started like feeling like easy again. But for some reason, I felt like I needed to jump on the spirit box. You know,
just by chance, he just wanted to, I was like, I'll try the spirit box. So I gave it to him, put it on, and immediately started talking to something.
I was giving response after response over and over again, very clear answers, sentences.
He was just spewing out just like tons of answers. Like, it was just crazy.
And right away I started hearing a lot of things, more like growling, and sounded like a bunch of people just laughing. And it kept talking a lot of shit. It kept talking a lot of shit to Jimmy and Pickles.
It said my name, and it was trying to guess what I did with my job. I had work just the day before, and it was trying to guess what time I got off work, and then it guessed what I actually did. But it's like, you got off work at 4 o'clock. I was like, last week I did.
Was trying to scare us, obviously, because it kept trying to guess what Jimmy's work was and trying to say what time she got off work. Well, some of these were right and some of them were incorrect. So I think it was just something trying to get in our heads, but then Jimmy just kind of laughed it off, and then it really get to her.
I was kind of just like joking back with it, and whatever it was, it didn't like that. And funny enough, it called me a skank, and I just laughed it off. I was like, fuck you.
Skank.
Fuck you too.
So then it changed its target to Pickles.
So then it switched to Pickles, and it started like trying to guess some stuff with Pickles.
Michael,
I want you to walk.
Sit. And for some reason, with the few investigations I've been on with the crew, being the new guy in the group, I've noticed that Jimmy and Pickles are the ones they really pick on.
And earlier that day, he was joking around talking that he wanted to join the 27 Club since he just turned 20. And there's no way anyone, this thing wouldn't know. We didn't even know that. Me and Kyle didn't know that. Jimmy didn't know that. Only, I think Pickles only knew he was talking about that.
I own my shit.
Not gonna last long.
Fuck no.
Jesus.
7 years.
7 years.
Shit.
What does that mean?
Not gonna last long, 7 years.
Watch out.
27.
What the fuck?
Picks.
What the fuck? It's trying to tell you that you're gonna die.
But that thing is weird.
Huh.
It sounds like a little girl and an older man at the same time.
But the spirit box that was going through Kyle was pretty much, it was so, you saw it in the video, it's like Kyle was talking on the phone with somebody.
For some reason, man, they just wanted to talk to me.
I'll fucking fight you. Yeah, you're trying to say some shit. Yeah.
You belong.
No, fuck you, man.
Fuck that shit.
Stay.
No.
Stay.
No.
There's a bunch of people saying stay.
But it kept telling, it said Pickles, Michael, and then it said 27, you only got 7 left, or 7 years late, or something like that. And Pickles started kind of getting freaked out, and it kind of got to him, and that's when that thing started laughing and telling us to run.
Kind of freaked me out, but I'm just like, now. But it was a little freaky then. I joked about, I was like, 7 more years, I'm gonna join the 27 club and everything. And then, was it dang old Kyle, he was with the spirit box, he was like, 27 Pickles. And I was like, oh shit, like, I just joked about that shit. Fuck.
And that's when we just shut it off, because I was like, this thing's just trying to mess with us. So we're still filming, we get down to the cars, and I'm like, all right, that's it, right? We're not gonna we decided not to do an outro, that we'll just do an after episode outro.
We decided we're just gonna just do it later on.
We weren't really feeling like anything was going on, or like we needed to record. So we put the camera equipment away, and
We just turned off all the cameras.
So we're putting the cameras away, and then Jimmy remembered that she brought Sage.
Jimmy, being the individual she is, she blessed us.
I had Sage, and I didn't want anything to follow any of us home, because doing this type of stuff, you just don't know. So I'd rather be safe than sorry.
We just do that just to ward off something to follow us home and stuff.
As we were packing stuff away, we went to go bless ourselves, so nothing follows us back home or anything like that.
And everything was going pretty far. So far, so good. Me and Kyle were hearing taps on the sign adjacent to the car. And I was saying, like, hey, can you do that in about 10 seconds? There was no tap on the sign.
So she brought that, she lit it, and then we each took turns, breathing it in and stuff like that. And we got done with that.
Using the lighter to just like hack at it a little to burn out the embers, and I was just standing there. The guys were all talking, and they were like talking to something that was throwing rocks at a sign.
And so my car is right here, and Kyle's car is one space away from mine. So there's a gap between them, and then we're all behind my car.
Behind Jimmy, like where Jimmy and Kyle were at, pretty much.
And Jimmy is about to turn around to go put the sage or put up something in the car. She turned, and immediately when the sage turned that way, she had it in her hand. That
Right as soon as she put the material out, it literally, right as soon as she stood up,
we heard a scream that I can only explain, that's only in like movies, like horror movies and shit.
But we heard this just piercing scream. It sounded like maybe 3 voices all together.
It sounded like something that I'd never heard before. Like, it sounded like it was like a blood curdling kind of type of scream.
you just hear that blood scream.
Or it sounds like a witch or demon thing. I don't know what it was. It sounded fucking nothing I've ever heard of before, only in movies. And it sounded like it was right by Kyle's car.
It was loud as fuck. You could hear that shit bouncing off the mountains. Like, you could hear the scream, like, refracting back onto the mountain.
Like, maybe a couple feet away, like, it was so close. I could hear it, like, it was right behind me.
And when Jimmy got too close with it, with the sage, it sounded like it, like, yelped and screamed like it was in pain. And at the same time, it flew away from us.
When it screamed, it like flew though too, or it sounded like, you know, it got further away from us like really fast in a matter of like seconds or so.
Hear it scream, and then it just goes.
Whatever screaming went up and then just flew. I can't explain that any other way, but yeah, that's what happened. And
towards the directions of like the mountain and the freeway behind it. And it like went pretty far, and then it started making a weird other noise.
It was choking and then trying to make another sound, and then it sounded like a coyote.
Where it was like, I don't know, like the best way to describe it is if it was trying to like morph into something else, because it was like I can't want to do it, but it sounded like it was like changing its voice, and then it started sounding like a coyote after that, which I've never heard of flying coyotes before, so I don't know how it would scream, fly in the air, and then start yelping over there. But there, all of a sudden, 2 of them started doing it.
In the distance, it was like a coyote, like a howl, and there's more coyote sounds, but that first one was definitely not a coyote, or I don't know what it was.
You know, and it's got its partners, or I say it had a partner behind us trying to take our mind or our eyes off of where it was going. In reality, it was just trying to freak us out. But, you know,
Jimmy jumped and said like, no, I'm done. She went straight into the car and she didn't come back out.
Once I heard that, I had like the sage in my hand. I was like, sorry guys, you guys got to do this all by yourself. I'm gonna back in the car. I just quickly got in the car. I locked the doors. I was like, I'm not getting out. You guys can do this yourself. I'm not getting out.
And then we finished putting the stuff away, and we were freaked out. Cameron pulled out his phone camera, but it was already too late. It's because we pulled that saver. No, I'll just do that at home. Fuck this.
All right, get in.
The camera's right there too.
I don't even know where the fucking my phone is or anything. Before or anything. You did give it to me.
Yeah, I handed it to you.
what the fuck?
What?
That was crazy.
Oh, I know, dude. I wish we were recording still or
I
something.
know, what the fuck? Damn it. Are you recording?
Yeah.
So, when fuck this happened, like, we just heard, like, it was supposed to be, like, we heard coyotes after the sound, but it sounded like, I don't know how to...
Like a gut-wrenching
like
scream.
a witch or something. Just,
Yeah.
like,
so
it
one
flew
came over
by.
here.
Like, it flew by us.
One sound was over here. That sounded like that weird thing. But then you go over here, it's a coyote. So it's trying to blend in with whatever
Was over
is
there.
up here. Yeah. So
And I counted down. I was like, can you do it in 10 seconds? And in 10 seconds, it didn't tap the sign. It screamed.
yeah, I got the chills.
Right when I started recording, it stopped howling too.
He was just filming us, like, kind of freaked out. So you might see that. But it sucks that we didn't get on camera. And I know a lot of you are going to call bullshit, but it really did happen. And it sucks that we didn't get on camera because it would have been really good evidence.
Can't really get a grasp of it, but it keeps ringing back into my head. Just thinking about like that scream.
Driving home was pretty eerie. Going home, kept seeing, like, kept feeling like somebody was like right next to me. Not like particularly in the passenger side, but what I mean is like right next to the car. Like it felt like somebody kept watching.
I don't know. Sometimes the scream still like plays over in my head like every once in a while, and it was just like the freakiest thing I've ever heard.
But we figure we might as well tell you about it, and it's up for you to decide if we're telling the truth or not.
Did that really happen? Like how did we not catch that on camera? How did this hunt, how did none of us have our phones out?
I'm really fucking pissed off that we didn't get that on footage too, because like, fuck, it was loud. Like, you guys wouldn't have believed it. I'm sure you guys wouldn't believe it now. Fuck you guys.
Keep sage on you. That's all I can say.
But thanks for listening to us and hearing our stories about what happened after the cameras were shut off. Hopefully we don't miss anything again in future episodes, but thanks for watching Pitch Dark Paranormal.